just give you a sense of where these Republicans are now. Chuck Grassley addressing the Iowa Freedom Summit, and here's what's just sort of like stunning for me, right? This is the so-called populism on the right, right? The Iowa Freedom Summit is where we're going to find the populists. These are like the Tea Partiers, right? Who don't like the big banks, who don't like to be pushed around, who don't like the special interests, who want to take back their government, right? These are the people who are supposedly against big money, like the banks, those corporate giveaways. Here's Chuck Grassley arguing that if we do anything to bring us back to where we were 5 years ago in terms of campaign finance, well, then, check it out. We more or less are going to turn into some type of repressive regime.
We all know that our Bill of Rights protects individual rights. We value, as is demonstrated here today, free speech with emphasis upon protecting the most important of all speech in a democracy, political speech, as much as any of those other rights in the First Amendment, and more so. But it's scary to tell you that 4 justices already are on record saying that freedom of speech is a collective right and somehow not an individual right. 4 liberal justices have an upside-down understanding of the Constitution. They would vote to allow the Congress to limit your right to participate in the political process by limiting speech. Now, the Constitution has to be amended to do that after the Supreme Court has gone a long ways in that direction. But do you know that there are liberal elements in the United States Senate, almost all of them, have introduced a constitutional amendment that would start amending the First Amendment? That's a slippery slope, could lead us to the abolishment of the Bill of Rights as we've known it for 230 years. We can't let that happen.
I'll tell you what's amazing about this is the disingenuousness, even from a historical standpoint. I mean, aside from the fact that we know the founders had a real problem with the corruption of government by powerful interests, by specific, narrow, powerful interests. When Grassley is talking about the 4 justices seeing the First Amendment as a collective right, what they're talking about is the idea that speech can be drowned out by overwhelmed in terms of the money that a Sheldon Adelson spends.
What?
But here you have Chuck Grassley. I mean, and I can't tell if he's like, he just sort of like rushed over Citizens United. Right? He just said, the Supreme Court fixed that, dealt with that. Yeah, they basically decided that any controls on individuals or corporations spending massive amounts of money on campaigns is basically going to be just blown away. I mean, there effectively is no more controls on this.
Well, and he also, every single write-up of that decision, including ones that actually supported it, everybody acknowledged that this was a major advance for the right on the court and a subversion of the status quo of campaign finance laws.
Of course.
And he wrote it, and he says it like, well, it's coming.
He's arguing that the way he presents it is we've been living in a Citizens United regime forever.
Exactly.
And that what's happening is that these 4 liberal justices, if they get their 5th, they could be turning everything upside down, and then soon we're going to have the whole Bill of Rights, abolished. Is that what the argument is? It's a slippery slope. It's a slippery slope. If you stop a billionaire from spending $1 billion in any given campaign, next step, we're in gulags. I think that's pretty clear.